Well, good Sunday afternoon, friends. Mark Holmes here. As always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Okay, let's deal with another one of the many elephants in the room. You know the damn floor's about to collapse. All these damn elephants in the room are literally getting that floor sagging. And that is the quarterback dilemma that the Dallas Cowboys currently have. Let's be clear here. The Dallas Cowboys, when it comes to quarterbacks, have been lucky. The only quarterbacks that they have found that they actually have that have done and amounted to anything are Dak and Tony Romo. Neither of which I can't even speak. When they got them, did they think that they were going to be a franchise quarterback? They never thought that. They looked at those two guys as basically camp bodies. Sean Payton, of course, finding Tony Romo. Dak Prescott literally falling to them in their lap. When they got Dak, let's be clear here, they wanted Paxton Lynch. And when they couldn't get Paxton Lynch, where they actually tried to make a trade for him, they were actually looking at Connor Cook. Two guys that didn't amount to a pile of poo as far as quarterbacks. And when we take a look at some of the quarterbacks that they've wanted before, guys like Johnny Manziel, you know I love that. Show me the money. That's why Jerry Jones liked Johnny Manziel, because he had the whole show me the money move. And we've gone through what seemingly is constantly the replacement for Dak Prescott. We went through Andy Dalton, the veteran, guy who'd made it to playoffs 4 years, 4 times. And for those out there talking about how much Dak Prescott sucks, I'm going to say Andy Dalton is 0-4 in the playoffs. I'm going to say Derek Carr, who just retired, has never won a playoff game. For all of you saying that Dak Prescott is the worst quarterback in the history of the NFL, smack yourself because you're stupid, okay? Go ahead, smack it, okay? You're stupid. After Andy Dalton, we thought Cooper Rush was going to be the answer. You know, in Rush we trust. Go ahead, Skip Bayless. I'll take Cooper Rush over Dak Prescott any day. Okay, how'd that work out? Well, he did look better last night than our guy, Joe Milton, who we traded a 5th-round pick for. And that, of course, was after Trey Lance, and we gave a 4th-round pick for, which neither guy amounted to a pile of poo. Now, here's the problem that the Cowboys have as far as quarterback goes. Joe Milton, at this point, I'm not sure Joe Milton is a USFL guy at quarterback. He has a long ways to go. If Dak Prescott goes down, how you feel about Joe Milton going in? Mind you, the first half of the game, Joe Milton had a 0 rating. I didn't know that was even possible. I thought it was like the SATs that you get 200 points basically for showing up, putting your name on. He had a 0 rating. That's literally saying you might as well not have a quarterback out there. If you had no quarterback out there, you'd have a 0 rating. Joe Milton was out there and had a 0 rating. So now here's the problem. This is the same thing we did last year, was Trey Lance. All 3 preseason games, we played him. And he ended up being our 3rd-string quarterback, okay? The guy who might have to play if Dak Prescott goes down, Will Grier, or if you're going to go out and get somebody else, and we'll get to that in just a second, is not getting any work. Your wide receivers, having Joe Milton throwing to them, are not getting any legitimate work. At this point, you have to look at this and say, this was a failed experiment and a mistake by the Joneses on doing this, and they need to do something about it sooner than later. If you're saying the best option we have is Will Grier, then fine. Then play him on Thursday night so the receivers get a chance to get some balls thrown to him in real time. And he gets some practice under his belt before the season starts. Now, if you look at that and say, Will Grier, a known commodity, that's not good enough. Then you got to make a move sooner than later. Now, some people have been talking about, go get Jameis Winston, okay? Well, Jameis Winston has had some experience in his career, and quite frankly, he should have been actually starting in New Orleans instead of Derek Carr, because Derek Carr was some bullshit. I ain't gonna lie to you. And we know Jameis Winston, Mr. Crab Legs himself, will throw the ball, throw interceptions and things like that, but he also throws touchdown passes. So that might be a better option. But in the end, the Cowboys, the problem is they're always trying to get a bargain. They always are. And they looked at it and said, well, we can go get Joe Milton because, he looked good that one game that he played last year. And we can get him for a 5th round pick and he'll be okay. Okay. Instead of actually going out and getting a known quantity that is already up to speed. And we do this across the board. In fact, this year, you can pretty much go through and look at all the free agent signings that we have are guys that were highly rated, 1st round draft picks, but haven't shown up on the football field. And they figure, well, we're getting those guys in a bargain and we can coach them up and they're going to be great. Very rarely does that philosophy end up working. Now, we do get some diamonds in the rough that have come through, like Kayvon Turpin and things, and some guys that have been injured before, like Malik Hooker and stuff. But that's more few and far between. And I'm not suggesting that they shouldn't do that. They should, but it has to be a mix with guys that can play. And we're sitting here 2.5 weeks from taking on the world champion Philadelphia Eagles, and you don't know how much it hurts me to say that. And we're sitting here and we don't have a backup quarterback. And that falls on Jerry Jones. And to make matters worse, we have an offensive line that is full of question marks, and we don't know that they're going to be able to keep the quarterback, Dak Prescott, upright. So if Dak can stay healthy, and CD and George Pickens, we're going to score some points. We're going to score a lot of points. But it's only going to take one hit to destroy this season. And I really don't want to see this season destroyed. I can't go through another season like last year. Maybe I can't go through another season like last year. I can't go through another. It still hurts. We need help, guys. A lot of help. Live stream, 5 o'clock. I'm getting back home. Hopefully in time to get set up for it. I'll see you there. Hopefully I'll have my tears wiped away.